Big congrats to the Chiefs on winning Super Bowl 58.
First and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman!
As for the other 31 teams,
better luck next year.
with the 2023 season now in the books, how about we dive into our first edition of the 2024 NFL Power Rankings. Number 32, Carolina Panthers. The Panthers settled on their new head coach and ex-Tampa Bay Buccaneers OC Dave Canales, who helped Baker Mayfield turn in a career year. Well, now we'll see if Canales can unlock Bryce Young after a miserable rookie year. Number 31, New England Patriots. Bill Belichick, his son Steve, and Bill O'Brien are all out. Jared Mayo is the new head coach and has the third overall pick in his back pocket to kickstart what figures to be a very painful rebuild. Number 30, Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals have kept their front office and coaching staff intact, and all signs point to Kyler Murray returning at quarterback next year. With the number 4 pick in the draft, the Cardinals have limitless options. Considering that top wideout Marquise Brown is a free agent, we'd suggest taking Harrison Jr. or Washington's Rome Odunze. Number 29, Tennessee Titans. Following the surprise decision to fire Mike Vrabel, the Titans hired ex-Cincinnati Bengals OC Brian Callahan for the new head coach position. So, with Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill likely to depart in free agency, a rebuild is now looming in Music City. Number 28, Washington Commanders. Things are looking up for the Commanders once and for all. The new-look coaching staff features Dan Quinn and coordinators Joe Witt Jr. and Cliff Kingsbury. Adam Peters, one of the hottest GM candidates this year, was picked up as the new guy in charge for the Commanders. And with the number 2 pick, a future franchise QB in USC's Caleb Williams or North Carolina's Drake May now awaits the Commanders. Number 27, New York Giants. The million-dollar question at this time for the Giants is what to do at quarterback. Is Daniel Jones getting what we like to call one more last chance, or do they use the number 6 pick on a signal caller in this QB-heavy draft class? Number 26, Denver Broncos. The Broncos are seemingly ready to move on from Russell Wilson, leading us to believe that Sean Payton will eye a QB with the number 12 pick. On top of finding a new QB, Denver will probably want to trade at least one of Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy. Without a single 1,000-yard rusher or receiver for the 4th straight year, GM George Payton has to rebuild the skill positions around his next QB. Number 25, Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons passed on the chance to hire Bill Belichick and instead brought back old friend Raheem Morris, who had a superb 3-year run as the Los Angeles Rams OC. The Falcons have far and away the most talented roster in the NFC South. All they need to do is get a quarterback, and Morris' squad will be well on their way. Number 24, Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders wisely retained Antonio Pierce as head coach before hiring ex-Chicago Bears OC Luke Getsy for that same role. Like so many teams on this list, a successful Raiders offseason comes down to what they do at QB. Jimmy Garoppolo is most certainly a gunner, and Aiden O'Connell just is not the answer. Vegas holds the number 13 pick, but don't be surprised if they explore the trade or free agent market for a new quarterback instead. Number 23, Chicago Bears. The Bears' first big offseason move was swapping out Luke Getsy for Shane Waldron as offensive coordinator. Up next, they have to decide what to do with Justin Fields in the first overall pick. It feels like they'll ultimately trade Fields and rightfully take Caleb Williams first overall. Number 22, Indianapolis Colts. The Colts were one of the top surprise stories of 2023, finishing with a 9-8 record and falling just one game short of an improbable playoff appearance. And they did that with rookie phenom QB Anthony Richardson missing all but 4 games, and with superstar running back Jonathan Taylor missing 7 contests. Chris Ballard has several top priorities on his offseason to-do list. Among them, re-sign top wideout and pending free agent Michael Pittman Jr., and of course, address that very leaky secondary. Number 21, Minnesota Vikings. In Minnesota, all eyes are on the quarterback position. Will they keep Kirk Cousins or move on from the 4-time Pro Bowler? Another order of business, getting that lucrative contract extension done with Justin Jefferson before his value further increases. Number 20, New Orleans Saints. The Saints kept Dennis Allen, but fired offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael and O-line coach Doug Maroney as a part of the staff overhaul. Clint Kubiak, the son of former NFL coach Gary Kubiak, is now running that offense. With limited cap space this offseason, don't expect too many big moves out of New Orleans this year. Number 19, Jacksonville Jaguars. It's going to be a difficult offseason for GM Trent Baalke. He needs to re-sign defensive MVP Josh Allen and either retain star wideout Calvin Ridley or find a formidable replacement. Oh yeah, upgrades in the secondary would be a big help too. Number 18, Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks settled on ex-Baltimore Ravens DC Mike Macdonald as their new head coach to replace fan favorite Pete Carroll. As Macdonald rounds up the brand new Seattle coaching staff, the Hawks have several difficult roster decisions to make. Do they move forward with Geno Smith or look at a younger option via the draft, trade, or free agent markets? Do they retain the ageless Bobby Wagner or do they let him go again? And how in the world do they fix a secondary that underachieves so mightily? Number 17, Pittsburgh Steelers. Finishing 10-7 and earning a playoff win was nice, but come on, let's be real. The Steelers aren't getting that lucky again without better quarterback play. Will new OC Arthur Smith be tasked with unlocking Kenny Pickett? Or does Mason Rudolph get a long-term look after a strong finish to 2023? Like the Vikings, the QB situation bears the most watching in Steel City this offseason. Number 16, New York Jets. The Jets only cracked the top half because of one man, Aaron Rodgers. The Jets won 7 games in 2023 despite an awful minus 87 point differential. We're bullish on the idea of the 4-time league MVP single-handedly turning a 7-win team back into a playoff contender. If the Jets can rebuild that offensive line accordingly, they'll finally live up to the hype as Super Bowl contenders in 2024. Number 15, Los Angeles Chargers. Feels weird putting the Chargers this high considering that they just finished 5-12, but hey, such is life when you hired an all-time great in Jim Harbaugh as your new head coach. And we have no doubt that he will get the most out of a star-studded, albeit constantly underachieving Chargers team that has been held back by inept coaching for way too long. Number 14, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are another pleasant surprise in 2023, winning the NFC South behind Baker Mayfield's career year in the first season of the post-Tom Brady era. Mayfield then led the Bucs to a blowout win over the Philadelphia Eagles in the wildcard round before narrowly losing to the Detroit Lions the following week. If Tampa wants to stay in win-now mode and hold off on the inevitable rebuild, then the priorities are to extend Mayfield and fellow pending free agents Mike Evans, Lavonte David, and Antoine Winfield Jr. Number 13, Cleveland Browns. Despite using 5 different starting QBs, the Browns finished 11-6 and made a surprise return to the postseason. Joe Flacco's short but sweet run ended in a blowout loss to the Houston Texans in the wildcard round. But by no means was this a season of failure. We don't expect the Browns to make any drastic moves at QB, but it is clear that they can win without Deshaun Watson. Number 12, Los Angeles Rams. For the first time in, well, forever, the Rams will enter the offseason as owners of their first-round pick, and with some very valuable cap space. Making the playoffs was a win in itself last year, but GM Les Snead surely has to explore a couple more blockbuster moves if his Rams are to seriously challenge someone like the Lions or San Francisco 49ers or Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC. Number 11, Green Bay Packers. Like the Rams, simply making the postseason made for a successful year in Green Bay, especially considering that they stood at 3-6 through 9 games. Jordan Love has officially arrived as the new franchise superstar quarterback in Green Bay. Yep, expect the Pack to cement themselves as a legitimate Super Bowl contender in 2024. Number 10, Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles feel like an enigma. Was their late season collapse just a string of bad bounces? Or is that who they are? Was the 2022 run to the Super Bowl just a fluke? Something tells us this ultra-talented team will bounce back in 2024. I mean, come on. Nick Sirianni aced his new coaching hires in DC Vic Fangio and OC Kellen Moore. Number 9, Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are starting to reach the Chargers and Bills level of underachievement. I mean, come on. 4 straight winning seasons, 2 playoff berths, and 0 postseason wins. Yeesh. Maybe a full year of health from the likes of superstars Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Phillips will help Miami take that next step next year. Number 8, Buffalo Bills. Yeah, not really sure what to say at this point. The Bills just can't win when it matters most. They finally got a vulnerable Chiefs team at home in the divisional round and still got eliminated in round 2 for the 2nd straight year. Something's got to change. Rebuilding an aging and injury-prone defense would probably be a pretty nice start. And hey, don't be surprised if the likes of Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, and Micah Hyde are let go in cap-saving moves. Number 7, Dallas Cowboys. Well, you know who the Cowboys are at this point. A glorified regular season stuntmen who fold like pretzels when the postseason commences. Jerry Jones' decision to keep Mike McCarthy means one thing. Jerry is fine with regular season wins and just does not care about Super Bowls.
Why is Dallas bringing back Mike McCarthy next year?
Because I'm not a GM. I thought that move would have been made.
Number 6, Houston Texans. In year 1 with CJ Stroud, D'Amico Ryans, and Will Anderson Jr., all Houston did was win the AFC South before crushing Cleveland in the wild card round. Their Cinderella run ended with a loss to the Ravens in the divisional round, but hey, that is nothing to be ashamed of. The Texans should make the jump to Super Bowl contender next year. Number 5, Cincinnati Bengals. Despite losing Joe Burrow for the final 7 games, and despite playing in a division that sent 3 teams to the playoffs, since he finished 9-8 and barely missed out on the 14-team dance. In Burrow's 2 healthy seasons, the Bengals have gotten to the AFC Championship game. If he's healthy, these guys are a bona fide Super Bowl contender. Number 4, Detroit Lions. Critique Dan Campbell for his questionable 4th down play calling against the 49ers all you want, but this was nothing short of a successful year in Motor City. They won their first division crown since 1993 and won their first playoff game in 32 years. Number 3, Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson is starting to enter can't win the big one territory. This was supposed to be the Ravens' year, yet they were outmatched by a less talented and more battle-tested Chiefs team in the AFC Championship game. We'll find out within a year if they'll use this heartbreaking loss to Kansas City as a learning experience towards a long overdue Super Bowl appearance. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers. Well, the heartbreak for the 49ers continues. A 3rd Super Bowl loss in 12 years. Well, 4th time in 5 years where they've reached the Final Four and just came up empty-handed. And so, questions about if Kyle Shanahan can win the big one continues to linger. Number 1, Kansas City Chiefs. At long last, we have a back-to-back Super Bowl champion. With their Super Bowl 58 victory over the 49ers, the Chiefs have officially cemented themselves as a dynasty. But who do you think will win the Super Bowl next year? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.